Well, on this episode of Downtown with Edgar, we decided since it's close to Halloween that we need to do something a little spooky. So we've traveled to one of the oldest cities in Idaho, Idaho City, and we're here at the Pioneer Cemetery. You can see it's a little spooky. We are actually going to see real ghost investigators at work. Now, some people have said they have seen ghosts and apparitions in this area. Now, we're going to find out for ourselves. So come with us on this episode of Downtown with Edgar.
My name is Edgar Linares.
Not that there's anything going on there. This is our first annual costume contest.
I've traveled the country and worked as a reporter.
I'm wearing 2 pairs of socks and my toes are nice and toasty.
While in news, I've been dragged by a boat.
What we're going to be doing, I'm going to be jumping on that jet ski.
Left in a cell to look for ghosts. Had my legs waxed live on the air. Everywhere I go, I always find fun and unique things to do in downtown. This is Downtown with Edgar. It's around 6 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm driving northeast on Highway 21 towards one of the oldest towns in the state, Idaho City. My destination is the Pioneer Cemetery. It's one of the first cemeteries ever established in Idaho. At one point in time, more people lived in Idaho City than the entire state of Oregon and Washington. Idaho City was founded in 1862. While muskets blared in the east for the Civil War, the people coming here had something else on their minds: gold. The gold rush brought thousands to this lawless town seeking fortune. Old mining equipment can still be seen around the corners of the town. Historians describe the town as rough and tough, where you always needed to be armed and ready. Saloons and brothels lined the streets where wanted men came to hide out. Records of the Pioneer Cemetery indicate it's the final resting place to about 3,000 people, but fewer than 300 graves are marked because of fires that burned through the cemetery. Out of those 300, only 24 or so died of natural causes. Many graves are marked as unknown. As the day turns to night, ghost stories about the town are shared by locals there.
Yeah, I'd say on a whole, it's got all of its little stories to tell.
Lucas Adams is a cook at the Gold Mine restaurant. He told us some of his spooky experiences.
Twice I've heard what could be a voice. I'm not going to say it was because there was no verbalization, but it was audible.
He says oftentimes things in the restaurant will disappear and reappear. He also told us a locked door in the restaurant once flew open, and a music box that hadn't worked in years suddenly began playing music in the middle of the night. We also asked Lucas about the old cemetery.
It's pretty spooky. I myself, I wouldn't go up there at night. I mean, but that's just me. I wouldn't go up there at night.
But we will. As the night grew later, we caught up with the ghost researchers at the cemetery. So it's that time of the hour, and I'm here with Marie Cuff, and she's with the International Paranormal Reporting Group, and you have your investigators that are out there right now.
We do.
And tell us, specifically why you guys chose Idaho City Cemetery, the Pioneer Cemetery. Why did you guys choose to investigate this area?
Well, we've done an investigation here before, and so this is more of a follow-up. We've had reports through email and our website that there's been activity up here throughout the years. And the first time we were here, we weren't really able to capture any evidence, so we want to try and see if we can do that again tonight.
Some people say they've seen an old miner wearing a flannel shirt roaming the cemetery. What are the things the tools that you guys will be using tonight to do your investigation?
Well, tonight, of course, because we have no power, it's mostly handheld, so video recorders, audio recorders, EMF, electromagnetic field recorders.
Okay.
We'll also have, like I said, the audio, temp gauges, things like that. All of our handheld equipment's here tonight.
All right, let's get to it. She introduced me to her team.
So Bobby is my commercial case manager.
All right, Bobby.
He handles all of our commercial cases, and he's going to be doing some EVP work tonight.
Okay.
Shelly is my residential case manager.
Sorry.
So when someone, has activity in their home, they're probably going to talk with Shelly first.
Okay.
And she's going to be doing some photography.
Using flashlights and infrared cameras, we made our way through the pitch-black cemetery, paying close attention. There are 2 other
gonna go all the
teams
way
in the
back to the
cemetery,
top.
each in groups of 5. Our first stop was at one of the older plots.
If there's anybody here that would like to communicate with us, please feel free to speak into this red light.
While we waited for a response, others walked around snapping photos. They then allowed me to ask a question to the spirits in the cemetery.
If there is anybody here, would you like to say anything to us or pass a message on to anybody?
We had no response that could be heard by the human ear. I asked Marie if there were ways you should and shouldn't ask a question.
I think there's a difference between being very firm and asking very pointed questions. There's a difference between that and just provoking, name calling and things like that. I think that's just rude. I mean, if somebody came in my house and was yelling and cussing and demanding that I answer questions or I do this or that, I'm not going to do a thing for them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's any different.
Okay.
We're just talking about someone who doesn't have a physical body. We shouldn't be any less respectful.
If there is somebody here with us, Jamie here has a device in her hand with an orange light. If you feel free to come and mess with it and touch with it, and that would allow us to know that you're here and you're trying to communicate with us.
I moved in close to see if the temperature or the EMF recorder got something. We continued asking questions.
Can you tell us your name?
Can you tell me what year it is?
Still no response. After asking several questions, we decided to sit in the dirt in the middle of the cemetery. We were trying to see if being still could trigger communication. We were pushing the investigation up a notch.
So what are we doing here?
We're going to sit down and do some EVP work because it'll be nice and quiet.
1 minute earlier, we asked this question in the pitch black.
If there is somebody here with us, could you brush one of us on the shoulder or touch one of us?
Moments later, this happened to investigator Shelley.
I thought I felt something right here.
Like
something
cold
walked me, just walked right past me. That's why I like to put out my hand, and I was like, it's kind of. Ever since we've been here, it is kind of chilly out. I'm dressed pretty warm. Haven't had no goosebumps. Sitting down, it felt like somebody walked by you, and you could feel the air. Automatic goosebumps on my arm.
Wow.
We decided to go even further in the investigation. We set up a flashlight in the middle of our circle. We adjusted the light so the slightest touch could make it flicker.
He's setting that up as a trigger object. And so hopefully if there's someone here with us, they can get it to go on and off.
How would they do that?
All they have to do is tap it.
Did the light flicker? You'll have to wait and see what happened. And
Something just ran past us. I'll tell you that photographic evidence and video evidence is actually extremely rare.
also,
Dina and them were down this way. We passed them coming up. They spoke about going over this way, but Bo's still there. Who was that?
that's coming soon on Downtown with Edgar. Happy Halloween.
I don't like talking about this in the middle of a cemetery.
What better place to discuss it?
I go. So I know what you guys are doing.
Well, then let's definitely make sure that we get him involved.